Well, I wanted to thank everyone for letting me spend some time in your classroom talking to you all about state government. I really enjoyed it there with everyone and Miss Paulson. And Miss Paulson sent me the questions that we weren't able to get to that day, so I wanted to take a second and answer the rest of your questions, and I hope this answers a number of questions that you may have still had when I left. Carrie, if you'd like to start reading the questions, and we'll go from there.
We noticed you have been a delegate for a while now. What has been your most difficult decision and why? And have you learned anything from it?
The most difficult decision I think I've had to make was running for the House of Delegates when I was already on the Virginia Beach City Council. On City Council, I got to help a lot of people, everything from fixing potholes in their front yards and in their driveways down to helping with the light rail issue and bringing transportation solutions to Virginia Beach. And I was one of 11, and we were able to accomplish quite a bit. When I made the decision to go to the Virginia House of Delegates, I became part of a body that had 100 members in there, not just 11. And it's a lot more difficult to get things done, and you're making decisions that impact not just the people in Virginia Beach where I live and serve, but people all across the state of Virginia. So that was a very difficult decision to leave City Council and stop doing what I was doing there and go to Richmond and serve in a much larger body. Have I learned anything from it? I have. You'll read about that the most important bodies of government are those closest to the people. Those are the bodies that truly make decisions that impact the people the most, and it's so true. Every time we made a vote on City Council, it impacted a lot of people's lives. And in Richmond, not that it doesn't make a difference, but not every vote impacts everyone across the Commonwealth. But that pretty much was the case at the City of Virginia Beach inside of that City Council.
Why did you run for delegate?
I ran for delegate because being on City Council for about 5 years, there was a tendency for decisions to be made at the state level which would put a lot of pressure on local government, on city councils. And it was very difficult when things travel downhill. So government works well. The federal government makes a decision, and sometimes that has a lot of cost to the state governments. While the state government makes decisions, then that passes all those costs and demands down to local government, and at local government there's nowhere else to take it. We actually have to deal with it there. So I wanted to run for the House of Delegates to bring the experience that I had at the local government, knowing how things fall downhill, back to Richmond and help them better understand why we just can't keep passing things down to the local government level and putting it on them.
All right. What might you run for if you couldn't be a delegate?
If I couldn't be a delegate, actually I would probably go back to City Council. It was just amazing how much we could really help people. One of the greatest times I had was really helping people just from potholes, where someone would call the city and they'd want a pothole out in, on the street where they lived fixed, and they were having issues getting to the right person, and they would call me, and within a couple of days we'd have that pothole fixed, and they would call me back and say, Mr. Davis, thank you so much, to be able to get that quickly. And it really wasn't a lot of time that I had to spend, but knowing that I was able to make someone's life easier really is a great feeling, and you get that opportunity a lot in local government.
What do you want to do next?
Boy, I don't know. I don't have a plan in government. I have a plan in business. I know what I want to do with my business. I know what I want my family to be able to do. With regards to government, as long as I can continue serving and making a difference, I'll do it. And at what position I'll do that at, it depends on where I can actually be most beneficial. So right now, no plans. I enjoy where I'm at. I enjoy having been on City Council, and we'll just have to see.
Why did you decide to serve as a government official, and what is your favorite part of the job?
I decided to serve as a government official because when I grew up in Virginia Beach. I went to Indian Lakes Elementary and then Brandon Middle and graduated from Green Run. And a lot of people made decisions when I was much younger, actually your age, that allowed me to have the opportunities to graduate from a great high school with a great education system, to go to college, come back and start a company. And I wanted to make sure those opportunities were there for that next generation, for you. And just like you'll have to provide that opportunity for the people and the kids behind you. And being a government official was the best way to do that. So that's why I wanted to become a government official.
And what is your favorite part of the job?
My favorite part of the job is helping people. It's the best feeling in the world when someone calls you with a problem that it could sound like a small problem, but it's so important to them and it's such a big issue for them and their family, and my team's able to solve it and know that we actually made a difference for someone. That's the best part of the job.
All right. What laws have you been involved with?
I'm a business person, and that's pretty much what I know best, is how to help companies grow and create jobs. So when I was in the General Assembly, I focused most of my time around helping people be able to create companies easier. One of the ones I'm most proud of this last year was sometimes, a lot of times actually, people start their first company out of their house. And up until recently, anything that a person used, a computer inside their house or furniture inside their house, could be taxed because it was being used for part of the business. And I put a bill in that passed that stopped the government from taxing your family computer because someone in the family started to use it to start a company out of the house. So that's what I focused on, is trying to do things that help people start their companies.
Who is in charge of you as a delegate?
The voters. A lot of elected officials have this idea that they don't have anyone that they report to that's in charge of them. But at the end of the day, it's the voters. I'm beholden to them every 2 years when I run for office. The voters come out, and if they like and they think I did a good job for them, they re-elect me. And if they think that a politician hasn't done a good job, obviously that wouldn't be the case. And I have to explain my votes. I believe that as an elected official, anyone should have the opportunity to come up and ask me why I voted the way I did, or why I put a certain legislation or bills in, and I need to answer those questions. So I'm beholden to the people of the city of Virginia Beach, and specifically those that live in my district.
Have you ever met President Obama? If so, what were the circumstances?
I have not had the opportunity to meet President Obama or any president for that matter. I've met a number of vice presidents. Most recently, the day that I was with y'all, I met Vice President Joe Biden, and I've met a lot of senators, a lot of congresspeople, and a lot of other very well-known people. And they're great experiences, but one thing I can tell you is we're all the same. We all put our shoes on 1 foot at a time. People have different opportunities in life and want to go into different things. But the people that you see on TV are no different, or were no different than you when they were in third grade. It's just that they decided to take a certain route. So it was wonderful to meet them. It was a great experience. But I'll tell you that but every one of you have the opportunity just to be like everyone you see on TV or in government.
What words best describe the government and why?
The best word probably is service, and that's what government should be all about. It's about elected officials serving their fellow neighbors. I serve in Richmond, but I represent the citizens of the 84th District. It's people that live within essentially a couple of miles of where I live. They're my neighbors and friends and that sort of thing. And in Congress, there's 435 members of Congress, but they all represent a specific area that they know and they've lived in, and they've probably grown up and have friends and neighbors there. So when it comes to the government as a whole, it's a whole bunch of people serving their neighborhoods, their friends, and others that rely on them to allow them to thrive and continue to move the country forward and create opportunities for their children and their grandchildren. I think that best describes our government, and that's what our government was set up to be. Great. Well, I really appreciate all the questions, and if there's anything I can help your class with, please let me know. And if y'all are interested in coming to the General Assembly and visiting up there, Carrie and Brianna are here, and we'd love to have you up there and maybe show you around. So thanks again, and I hope y'all are having a great school year.